Hello, everyone, and thanks for joining us today. And welcome to our session on enhancing change management and organizational design with lessons from the field and the promise of AI. I'm really excited for this topic today and for our guest. And my name is Tim Morton, and I'm one of the founders of Prompt AI. And earlier this week, I was actually on a call, and I was thanked by a client for bringing what he referred to as new change management and removing what he called traditional change management and the difference that had made within their organization going through lots of transformation. And just part of our journey, in 2018, we were working for a global pharmaceutical, and the CIO out of New Jersey said, "We're really happy with your work, but we're using data all across our business. Why aren't we using data for change?" And it was a great call out. And from there, we set out and we launched our first prompt AI application in 2020. And really with the thought of how do we leverage better data and better insights, providing better tools for transformational leaders. And we really see this as a balance of traditional change management approaches, techniques, ways of working with emerging technologies that create more resilient, adaptive, and successful organizations and successful change and transformational outcomes. So today we're going to explore and discuss how organizations can modernize their approach to change management and organizational design. And I'm really thrilled to be here with you to guide this conversation. And for those of you joining on the call today, thank you. And if you have questions, please share them in the chat, and we'll allocate time at the end to answer your question. Also, today's session is being recorded, and we'll share a recording copy after the session, and we're also going to provide a copy of the slides. And I'm so honored and pleased to introduce our guest speaker for today, Maha El Hu. Sorry, let me try again. Last names are not my strength, but I do try. El Hin Dwawi.
Close
How
enough.
did I? Okay, thank you.
Close
Thank
enough.
you. And my apologies if it wasn't there. I'll keep working on it. Maha is an incredible thought leader, an incredible leader of transformation and change, an org design guru, and just a true innovator. So we're so proud and so pleased to have Maha with us. So Maha's going to present some slides, then we're going to jump into the Q&A dialogue and get into those questions from you in the audience. Maha, welcome. Thanks again for joining us today. And please do introduce yourself to the audience, and let's just jump in and get started. And once again, thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Tim. And thank you to everybody who's on the call today. I know it's lunchtime, and I know that you are taking time from your lunchtime to come and join us. So thank you. And I really am hoping that by the end of this conversation, you will be leaving with things, not empty stomachs, at least. Maybe empty stomachs, but like full of ideas and great things. So thank you very, very much for being here today. I come to you today with over 15 years experience that I have dedicated to everything that has to do with organizational effectiveness. I started in industry, made my way to consulting, and you can say I touched almost every kind of organization. So I touched healthcare organizations, I touched the financial services, whether it's banking or insurance. I touched NGOs. I touched big and small change initiatives. And I'm here to have a conversation with you about things that I have learned and things that I know that AI can help us transform and do a better job with. So with no further ado, let's get started. I am hoping that you go away today with these two critical things. How do you become proactive in your change management practices using AI? And the second thing is, how do you solve very complex organizational design demands that are not your typical give me an org structure? And how we can use AI to make this even a better and easier ask from our clients. Let's get started. Uh, for Star Wars lovers out there, let's say that in change we believe. I know that the statistic up here on the left-hand side is quoted so much that it has become an urban legend, that 70% of re-engineering initiatives do not achieve success. And from the get-go, as change professionals, when we hear this repeated so much, we know from the get-go that we are not going to be successful. We probably will look like this guy on the right-hand side here, who's puzzled and unsure. And statistics like this can push people away from choosing to be working in change management. What does not come in the picture is the fine print that I wrote actually in fine print at the bottom that says that if we follow a rigorous approach and an action-oriented approach, we achieve 79% success rate, which is 3 times the average. And this is a very recent research published by McKinsey, and I've cited the source for you there. So what I'm trying to say is, let's not be discouraged. Let's not take the statistics for face value. Let's make our own story. So let's make our own story here. Of course, we know that, and I know again that I'm singing to the choir here, that there are 4 things that make change succeed. This is the method, the approach that we are talking about. You have to have committed leadership that is dedicated to the change, that is focused on making the change happen, that is visible and out there talking about change to everybody. You need to have a clear vision and a clear strategy, and you are very structured, and you lead the change through to implementation. And of course, number 3 is that there is communicate, communicate, and communicate. Have your communication reach everybody who is touched by the change, or even outside of that, as long as they are influenced by the change, until you achieve number 4, which is a very strong stakeholder engagement. In my experience, number 3 here, the communication, is the most critical of all those critical success factors. Communicating right, communicating at the right time, communicating frequently, tailoring your communication to the target audience is the key critical success factor of all those 4. And we build communication through going through a rhythmic motion. If you look to the left-hand side here, we get input as change professionals, and the input to our communication comes from the change management strategy. It comes from the vision. It comes from the case for change, which answers the 3 critical questions, the why, the what, and the how. We take all of this input and we incorporate it into the planning of the communication. And later in the process, as you can see, feedback also on the communication comes into the picture. But the initial input comes here from those 3 big documents: the change management strategy, the case for change, and the vision. And then you go through the planning phase, you build that beautiful big Excel document that we all are familiar with that says, what are the key messages? Who are we sending it to? What are we sending it? How do we align it with which events that are going into the change management? We go even to finer details, such as who's signing off on this communication and who's sending it and who is it going to. So we put all of this in a big, beautiful plan. And then we start developing and delivering the change messages. And here comes the critical piece. the monitoring and evaluation of whether communication has really achieved what we wanted it to achieve, which is the engagement of the employees, the teams, the people who are going to be touched by the change. Every book that you will read and every course that you will go to will say to you that the monitoring and evaluation happens in this process. You launch a survey or you go to meetings, you launch your change agent network, which is one of your great and critical sources of feedback on your change activities. You collect this information, this feedback from them, whether it's qualitative or quantitative. You analyze and synthesize this feedback using whatever tools that are available to you. For the most part, in my experience, again, it has always been Excel, but some organizations use Power BI, some organizations use Jira. Whatever the tool is, you will use it so that you can analyze and synthesize the information and then go back and update your communication plan, whether you are updating your key messages or updating an audience group or tailoring the communication more specifically to a specific audience group. But it's never this straightforward. And I'm sure you know that. It's never this easy. It's never that straightforward. And it takes a lot more effort so that you can do this, especially in contexts where you are doing a digital transformation. You are helping and supporting the implementation of a new technology in the company, or you are helping. It gets even more dicey when you are in an M&A context because with M&As, deadlines are really deadlines. So everything is fast, everything happens fast. And if there is an element of resistance or an element of discomfort in the organization that you do not capture early on, this mushrooms very quickly and it becomes more difficult to address and more difficult to for you to use your typical change management tools to address it. And this is where AI brings in the brave new world. It opens up communication ways for you to monitor and evaluate the impact of communication in infinite possibilities. What I would like you to think of, I would like you to think of AI as sort of a pulse monitor for your organization. It does dig for those patterns. It does find those repeated elements that keep coming up in the surveys or in your data that you have collected. And it picks on those signals from every aspect. So it comes from a specific area, it comes from a specific function, it comes from a specific department, it comes from a specific tenure group, it comes from whatever the area is, whatever the pocket is that has this issue that you can address with communication, it will pick on those things. And it will tell you what those top concerns are so that you can adjust your communication planning going forward. The other thing about AI that I have found extremely beneficial is that we are not going to be drowning as change professionals in uh, humongous Excel documents and spreadsheets and multiple of those and multiple iterations. I remember losing count sometimes of V1, V2, V10, I don't know what of my Excel spreadsheets because what is going to happen is the data will be pulled immediately on a living and breathing dashboard that you can use to immediately in your leadership meetings with the board, with the sponsors of the project, with the leadership team, immediately pull and show, and they will see visually where the challenges are, the red lights, the amber lights, the green lights, everything. And they will see how we can and where we can tweak so that we can move the needle on some of those things. And the last thing is I cannot stress enough how valuable the qualitative data that comes to you through your change agent network. I cannot stress how important this is. And because it's qualitative and it's sometimes harder to analyze, AI comes in very, very helpful and very, very friendly. It picks on those cultural nuances that you need to capture when you are designing and implementing communication plans. It looks at um, 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 it changes those culture nuances into insights that you can eventually use so you can build better communication going into the future. AI is going to change things dramatically, and we are seeing now that instead of inviting change professionals to support with technology implementations, we are now going into AI implementations. So, how do you capture that and play the same game as well as what you are attempting to endeavor? I will pause here for 2 seconds, have a sip of water, and let you digest all of that because I know this has been a lot. So allow me 2 seconds to have a sip of water.
Yeah, and while you're doing that, just a reminder to our audience that we will be sharing the slides as well as the recording. And as you have questions, please do continue to put them in the chat, and we've allocated time. So I'm loving the conversation and looking forward to looking forward to hearing more.
Excellent. Thank you very much, Tim. Um, to keep the flow of the conversation and to be cognizant of time, I would like to transition now to another area that I am also very, very passionate about, which is org design. Org design links very closely to change management because although they are seen as two separate things, but they are very closely linked and very closely related. So again, as change slash org design professionals, when a client or our team comes to ask about an org design, we follow this cycle. It's studied, it's methodical, it has proven very successful. We get an understanding of uh, what are the pain points now with your existing structures, with a client's existing structure or the team's existing structure. We understand the players, we get an introduction to the team, we put together all of those beautiful governance structures of how this project is going to happen and things like that. And this helps us understand what we are getting ourselves basically into. We move from this to thinking about the future. So we meet with those leaders, we have conversations about their aspirations, what do they want to see into the future, what is their vision is, what is the strategy going forward for this company. For if you are an internal consultant, obviously you have this information, but you need to focus on what is the vision that this team wants to achieve. And then we start proposing structures. We go to team A and say, these are the most optimal structures based on the things that I understand from the current state and based on where you want to be in the future and based on the guiding principles that we have thought about. And then we address team size and we address layering and we address workload and whether we need to redistribute the work among different employees. And that helps us understand the sizing as well. And not only that, we also look at data. So we look at data from the company, we look at benchmark data from outside, and we pair all of this with a conversation so we reach that beautiful future state design. And then we help the employees transition into this new design. We think about what skill needs they have to be sitting into those designs. Do we need to revisit their job profiles, so we can find the right people so that who can sit into those seats? And then we move into stabilizing the organization into the new design. We launch the new design and we use metrics so that we can make sure that the design is stable. What we have designed, what we have agreed on with the leaders is a stable design. And then we go back if we have to make some amendments here and there. Very cool, very simple again. But there is always an ask, a unique ask. And here is one unique ask that my client in the insurance industry came back to me with. This insurance company had a front-facing team that pick up the phone and a shared services team. And the shared services team focuses on continuous improvement, focuses on training and quality, focuses on workforce management, making sure that there's always somebody on the phone picking up when you call for your insurance questions. The question that the client came back to me with is, if I want to expand, and I want to expand, and I want to expand either by integrating other businesses or by acquiring other companies. And those companies and those businesses within the company could be having the same insurance products, or they might not be having the same insurance product. So it's a complicated situation. What we like from you, Ms. Consultant, is we would like to know, tell us, if we increase our frontline phone picking individuals by, let's say, 10 people into the future, how many people should we add in the shared services team? And the answer is not, if you add one here, add one in the shared services, because the whole point of having a shared services team is to create that amalgamation of skills and eventually creating efficiencies. So the solution I proposed to the client is that I created a weighted model. I looked up the factors that influence an increase in number in support functions or shared services functions, and weighted those because they impact different functional groups differently. And then develop two scenarios. The first scenario is if we acquire companies that have similar products versus if we acquire companies that have different products. And then I gave them this beautiful model that says to them, if you add, let's say, 10 employees and your efficiency gains are, let's say, 20%, this is how many you need to add in the back office, and this is how they are distributed. It was amazing. They were happy. I was very excited because they are now able to plan better. They are now able to estimate how many employees they are going to be needing into the future. And that can be implemented over 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, depending on what they need. The client was very happy. I was very happy to be able to help them with this challenge. Could we have done better using AI? Absolutely. And we could have done better using AI in two ways. The first way we could have used AI is that we could have incorporated data, historical data, on, especially with something as seasonal as insurance. I could have incorporated more data point in my scalability model. Uh, Things like previous work patterns, previous years, historical data from the past. And I could have added all of those into the predictability of the model. The other thing I could have used AI with to make this a better model is the beauty of AI is that it doesn't only look at the numbers, it looks at the human beings behind those numbers, so that it can tell me how the quality of the interactions are going to change based on the use of on the efficiency gains. are the efficiency gains going to also have an impact on the quality of interactions? And where's that sweet spot of efficiency is based on the information that we have given we have. This AI could have given me sort of a since we're in the world of fantasies, could have given me a crystal ball to look into the future so that I can give my client a far more informed decision. I am not saying that AI is going to take over our place. I'm not even insinuating into something like that, but AI is going to be a tool that simply will transform the way we do things. I want you to imagine stepping into a world where we, as change professionals, are not buried until under Excel spreadsheets, but we are giving insights, really giving insights and informed decisions and informed capability to our clients, giving advice to our, because this is what clients come to us with. They come to us hoping and looking forward to get advice from us. The second thing is that I want us to think of ourselves as the master builders of bridges. We are the link between advancements in technology and what is happening on the ground. Our emotional intelligence is going to be our superpower in this world, and I would like to invite you all to embrace it and to have a moment to work with it and to enjoy it as well. Um, I I think it's about time for me to wrap up, and I'm happy to take questions.
Wonderful, and thank you so much. You know, there's so many takeaways, and you know, for me, I absolutely love the whole EQ being our superpower, and I think that is so important. It's you know. With AI, what we're seeing is that ability to have better data and better insights, but uh, we're just giving change and transformation folks improved tools and improved insights, but it's still so important to be able to have those conversations, to trust your intuition about what
Hmm.
you're seeing, to be able to really build. And I think you've really touched on that. So I've got a few questions that I'd love to get through. And for for those joining us live, please do continue to put your questions in, and we will be getting them to them. But for me, one of the big things is that I've been reflecting on is uh, for you, what do you see as the key takeaways for effectively assessing the current state and proposing future designs in this rapidly changing, uh, business and AI environment?
Current state assessment is very critical. So the thing is, you cannot skip it and go immediately to future state design, because if you skip it, you're not really tapping on the pain points. You don't know what the pains are, and so you might be repeating them into the future state design. So for you to fast forward this piece is have those intense conversations. Don't be shy to ask the most critical questions. Uh, um, and more importantly, take all of this. And by the way, you can also use AI to accelerate it. So take all of this content that you have gathered in your current state assessment, which is usually conversations, it's usually verbal conversations, a qualitative feedback, and put it into your AI tool, and you will be surprised at the threads that it will find for you, the common themes that it's going to find for you. You will be surprised at the nuances that it catches on. That I'm not saying that we are not going to be there to filter, because we need to be there to filter through some of the things that AI is going to be presenting to us. But if you want to accelerate this process, if you want it to be more efficient, use something like an AI tool, get the information, run it through your AI tool, and get the outcomes and go to your client and present it to them. AI may not give you the future state design, because this is a matter of analysis of, like I said, internal data, external data, and conversations with the team, but it can very easily help you understand what the current state is. Um, I hope this answers your question, Tim.
Yeah, indeed, indeed. And as you said, it's AI can play such an important role, and that's what we're seeing in the use of NLP, like natural language
Mm,
processing, and understanding sentiment,
yes.
understanding what people are going through and feeling as they're hearing about this change, and
Mm,
the power of understanding that voice of the employee, voice of the customer, voice of those that are going to be impacted by the changes. It's just tremendous. So uh, my next question, I'm just thinking, and I was reflecting on success, those critical success criterias. So thinking about major transformations like a technology transformation, could even be an AI adoption transformation, because that
yes.
is now a major major technology digital type transformations. What do you see as some of the most critical success factors?
To AI adoption?
Well, it could be to AI adoption. It could be
Okay.
to a big digital or big ERP. So any of those big transformations that involve technology.
The biggest thing that is a critical success factor to any change management is having leadership and sponsors who believe in this change, who are ready to speak about it in their circles, and their circles are the other top leaders in the company. There was a time when I was going through a technology implementation, and we had a situation where the project sponsor was not an advocate of the change. We spent a lot of time working with this sponsor, coaching her, and setting her up, building a calendar for her on engagement opportunities that she can go ahead and speak about it, gave her the speaking points, coached her, had meetings with her in advance of those conversations. So we prepare her for what to say. And we've found that the CFO in that company was a very strong advocate of the change. We started using the CFO as a co-lead with the project sponsor, supporting her, helping her, and working with her, so that she can go ahead and speak with the board, speak with the other team leaders on the change and the value of the change. Especially, this happens very specifically when we are implementing an HR technology, because everybody in the company will be on board on implementing an ERP system that does finance, or that does supply chain, or that does that. But when it comes to implementing HCM in particular, there is higher resistance from other leaders in the company. So unless you have somebody who is so bought on the change and so dedicated to making it work, especially somebody who holds the purse like a CFO, fantastic. If not, work with those sponsors, help them become visible, help them speak up about the change.
Yeah, that's so true, and that having that sponsor that brings the vision to life, because at the end the end of the day, they actually provided the approval. They've allocated the funds. They've made this a priority, and they need to be the ones that that
Yes,
are shouting from the rooftops and reinforcing key messages, and helping people, because as we know, change is difficult, and
it is.
we all resist on different levels. And I think part of that too is uh, they, with the support of change leaders, can really demystify the change,
Yes,
because it's that,
absolutely.
this can be so brutal. No, they can demystify and help to bring it down to those bite-sized chunks.
Absolutely. And these are the people you rely on when you are implementing the change so that they can carry the message forward. Um, Again, I'll go back to the org design example. I was working alongside a leader a sponsor who was a very vocal about the change. And you know how org design comes with a lot of anxiety. The minute people hear the word org design, the anxiety goes through the roof. But this sponsor was out there almost in every single meeting, in every single conversation, talking about it, addressing questions, saying the right things that have to be said about the org design. It was having this sponsor made the experience extremely easy.
Brilliant. And it is a make or break. And
Absolutely.
as you showed in one of your slides, that was the first and most important point. And
Absolutely.
our job as change leaders is to make them look brilliant, but we do need them to step up and accept the coaching and accept the guidance, but be that face to, because
Yes.
their people want to hear from them. So it's just so tremendously important.
Absolutely. Agree. Couldn't agree more.
And you know when when you think about different types of transformation, why do you think it's so important to tailor the change management approach
Mm.
based on the different type of transformation that you might be going through?
You don't only tailor it to the type of transformation, you also tailor it to the company, its appetite, its culture. Culture is critical. You tailor it to what's next to in the fold for the company. Is this the last of their technology implementations? Are there other initiatives going in the background? So every change is unique. There are common themes for sure. There are common challenges. There are common techniques that we use as change professionals. But each transformation comes with its own challenges, comes with its own baggage, if I might say. And each client, each company is its unique culture. And you need as change professional, we all need to be I know this will sound very cliche, but we need to be very, very nimble and move very, very, very fast, and adapt very quickly and pivot very quickly with the needs of those particular companies that we are working with. Even if you are an internal SME, every team within your company has its own unique subculture. And when you are working with those unique subcultures within your company, you will need to adapt your change methodology, not the methodology, sorry, you will adapt your change techniques so that they address the specific needs, the specific pain points, the specific change that is going through that your team is going, the team you're working with is going through now. So it's not just about what is changing, it's about who is changing and how they are changing.
Yeah, it's just so important. And even going back to one of your comments around EQ, it's really reading the room and reading the culture and understanding the
Absolutely.
culture and how best to bring that vision, as opposed to we're going to follow these just 20 templates, and or what doesn't, of course, what doesn't fly in this AI age as
Yeah.
well is the 60 page change document or change strategy or plan with a bunch of canned stuff that doesn't relate to that business or that transformation, because people just don't have time anymore to
Yeah.
spend 2 or 3 months on a plan that's not that's not also being implemented and iterative.
Absolutely.
So spot on.
Absolutely. I wanted to give a quick example here, Tim, that I just remembered now. We were working with a client on a technology implementation, and we were at the very initial phases. We were still working through creating the vision for change and things like that. And in the conversations with the leaders, the leaders communicated to us that uh, they are not going to be speaking with anyone about this. This has to stay under the fold for now. And we were like, what's going on? And it turned out that there has been a previous technology implementation, and the leaders did a great job aligning their teams, speaking about it, drumming it very loudly with their teams. And then comes day one, when the system was launched, and they clicked, it didn't get them what they want. They were very frustrated, very disappointed, and they were like, no, we're not promoting any more system transformations. uh, and we had to take a step back as the change management team, and we had a quick meeting with a sponsor, and we said we need to readjust our change management approach so that we can address this particular challenge. And we started working around, okay, finding ways so that we can help this client, help those leaders uh, align themselves with the change, and eventually align their teams with the change. We involved them. We started building workshops to introduce them to what we are doing and what it promises to them. And in our communication to this group, we were like, this is still an initial phase. We still have not designed the system to address your needs. These are all the system capabilities. Everything that you will get, you are going to be involved in. So we started involving them in the design of of the processes and the system design. We started involving them in the testing as well, so that they click and see what the outcome is and give us feedback on whether this is what they are looking for or not. It ended successfully, but it started. Um, it tells you that change is not created equal. And to your point, Tim, we cannot just say, here's the change management approach, go implement it. You need to be paying very close attention to your client's needs and to what's going on with them.
Indeed. And I want to switch gears a little bit, and we'll get to the questions from the audience. But before that, just want to start, thinking about the future of
Mm.
change and org design. And what do you see as, the biggest impacts and or opportunities of emerging technologies on change and org design practices?
Well, like I said during the presentation, you can use AI to drill data for you and turn this data into insights. The challenge has always been we have all of this data that is very difficult to go through because of the volume of the data and because of the sources of the data and because of the fact that it's not just numbers, it's numbers and verbal comments. And it becomes harder to manage all of this data and turn it into an insight that you can help make informed decisions based on. So it what's going to advance change management and org design into the future is our ability to turn the data into insights that our clients can take, or we can help our clients make with, so that they can make informed decisions. Not just AI, but it's the ability, our ability to make informed decisions, data-driven decisions. AI can drill harder. If you don't have the capacity, or you still are unsure or unclear, you want to use AI or not, do your due diligence, focus on giving your client data-driven solutions for sure.
Yeah, and what we're seeing too is with data-driven solutions for change, we're seeing that leaders and sponsors are actually seeing change people as more strategic, as more informed, and
Absolutely.
and they're seeing change people more in a light of uh, we've got to have this person at the table. They have to be at our steering committee. They've got to, they've got to be in front of the entire leadership. So it's really heightening that role because
Yes.
of both how close they are to the change, but also how close they are to the sentiment of the people going through the change.
And we are starting to use the same language that those leaders are using. So we're talking facts, we're talking solid data, we're talking numbers that we have generated from our tools and our interactions and all of that. There are things that you're presenting them, things that they cannot say to you, no, this is not true. It's based in data. So you're speaking the same language that they are speaking.
And we talked about data-driven decision
Mm.
making and also your EQ. Are there other critical skills or approaches that you see as important for change and OD professionals in the coming years?
We also spoke about nimble.
Yeah.
So this is another thing that is very, very critical. Your ability to pivot, your ability to catch something and go on and do something with it immediately, not wait and not stall. Being nimble is critical. We are preaching being nimble to organizations as change professionals and org design professionals, or OD professionals in general. Uh, so we cannot be not walking the talk. We have to be very, very nimble, very, very adaptive to the changes that are happening and around us. So data-driven decision making, our EI is critical, and our ability to be adaptive is the other critical skill that we need to have as OD professionals.
Yeah, yeah, it's so important. And uh, years ago, I joked about change people being some of the most resistant to change when it comes to how we
True,
approach change. But
true.
part of that was uh, not everybody always saw the value in the amazing support that a great change person could bring. But I think now with AI enabled solutions, that's certainly changing because the value that a great change professional brings is tremendous.
Absolutely. Couldn't agree more.
So we did have a few questions from the audience.
Mhm.
Juliet had asked, and this was as you were going through your slides, what tools are used here for the graphs and dashboards?
Julia, are you talking about, I'm sorry, let me go back to my slides.
Yeah, I think it was the one with the three um, uh,
This one here,
that
Julia,
one.
I think.
Yeah.
Yes. So as Tim had mentioned, we have our AI Prompta AI tool that we use to generate these dashboards and these deep analyses for our clients.
Julia had confirmed that was
Okay.
from Sabina. Was just again, yeah, it unfortunately had to drop off, but looking forward to the follow up. Again, it was another one about the tools that we're using for some of the data analysis. And then we had from Olga, just thanking you for a great presentation. And speaking about AI, were you referring to generative AI? And also, any advice on specific AI tools to use?
There are the tools that are out there. Google has its AI tool now. I personally have a preference for um, Perplexity AI, but these tools are not going to do the drill down for you. That's one. And two, these tools are, I don't know if they can do how the data is managed. So privacy is an issue with these tools. What we do, and maybe Tim, you can help as well,
Yeah.
is this is our in-house tool that we have used in our engagements. We protect the data that we generate using client data that we use to produce these dashboards. And we are
Yeah.
bound by privacy um, conditions, so to speak, with our clients.
Yeah. And we're using advanced natural language processing, machine learning, predictive analytics, and generative AI, and making sure, of course, it's secure to that program and that
Absolutely.
client. So, and yeah, and it looks like it looks like that's all the questions we have at this moment. Is there any thoughts that you'd like to give the audience, as a takeaway? And is there, any thoughts, and also, if you could share with the folks on the line how they can get in contact with you and continue the conversation.
My parting thoughts is uh, AI is not there to replace human intelligence. It cannot be a replacement for human intelligence. If anything, it is something that helps us as professionals uh, uh, do a better job. And I read something, I can't remember where I read it, but it was talking about how AI is not going to be replacing jobs. AI is going to be replacing the jobs of those who do not use AI. So let's put this in our mind. It's not taking our jobs, it's taking our jobs if we are not incorporating it into the work that we are doing. Again, to your point, Tim, of how people can reach us, please, these are our numbers, these are our email addresses, these are our LinkedIn profiles. We are happy to continue the conversations. Reach out if you have questions. If you would like to dig deeper into any of the things that we have discussed today, it's going to be our pleasure. And as Tim said, we will be sharing this video and the recording after that. Sign up for Prompt.ai, follow the page on LinkedIn so that you can see the video and to see these things. And I believe, Tim, that are we sharing it via email with people, or how does it work? I'm not
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah, we'll be sharing the slides. We'll be sharing the recording with everybody who signed up. We'll also be looking to share it on our website as well, and on LinkedIn. So
Excellent.
so and again, Maha, I want to just thank you for your time today, for sharing these amazing insights. For me, living and breathing this, there's so much I take away from this as well. And thanks for everyone for joining today. And just a reminder, our next webinar session is happening on March 19th. It's on culture change in the AI age with Phil Buckley, noted author and change expert. So again, thanks everyone for joining. Thank you, Maha. And we're looking forward to seeing everyone again, and have an awesome day.
Absolutely. Thank you all very much. Take care and stay warm.